Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jake Tapper. This is The Lead. We're going to begin with the national lead, the secret kill list, the squadron of flying death bots, the American citizens killed with his okay, but without anything even approaching a trial. President Obama today defended his administration's counterterrorism policy, specifically his covert drone war, and he admitted publicly, for the first time in his own words, that he approved the 2011 drone killing of American-born cleric Anwar al-Awlaki, the suspected face of al-Qaeda in Yemen.
I do not believe it would be constitutional for the government to target and kill any U.S. citizen with a drone or with a shotgun without due process. But when a U.S. citizen goes abroad to wage war against America, his citizenship should no more serve as a shield than a sniper shooting down on an innocent crowd should be protected from a SWAT team.
The president did not discuss at any length the three other Americans his administration this week acknowledged it had killed in drone strikes, including al-Awlaki's teenage son. The president asserted that the core of al-Qaeda is gutted, but he says the menace of terrorism has mutated in the time since 9/11 to al-Qaeda affiliates and wannabes and homegrown extremists, and threats to diplomatic facilities and businesses overseas, and that drones are often the safest way to conduct the fight. The president says that civilian deaths and drone strikes outside war zones will haunt his chain of command for, quote, as long as we live, but he also asserted that they're legal because the U.S. is at war with al-Qaeda. As an olive branch to critics, he says his administration will consider options for making drone strikes more transparent, such as an independent oversight board or a special court to approve the attacks, but no promises. The president ran into some trouble as he moved on to another long-standing controversy in his speech, a heckler slamming his failure to close the prison at Guantanamo Bay, despite signing an executive order to do so in his very first hours in office. More than 100 of the 166 detainees at Gitmo have been on a hunger strike for months now. Before he could address that, Medea Benjamin, a co-founder of the group Code Pink, beat him to the punch.
Once again, today, I'm about to address it, ma'am, but you got to let me speak. I'm about to address it. Let me address it. Why don't you let me address it, ma'am? Why don't you sit down and I will tell you exactly what I'm going to do.
Benjamin interrupted the president several more times, eventually bringing the entire speech to a complete standstill. It took several minutes to haul her out. Then the president said this.
The voice of that woman is worth paying attention to. Obviously, I do not agree with much of what she said. Victory will be measured in parents taking their kids to school, immigrants coming to our shores, a citizen shouting her concerns at a president.
The president tried to underline today how his policies are not the same as those of his predecessor, and joining me now is a member of that administration, Donald Rumsfeld, who served as defense secretary for President George W. Bush from 2001 until 2006. He is the author of the new book, Rumsfeld's Rules, Leadership Lessons in Business, Politics, War, and Life, and he joins us now. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you.
So President Obama started his speech by laying out the history of the wars and this policy, and he said something about the Bush administration I want to get your reaction to. Let's take a listen.
I believe we compromised our basic values by using torture to interrogate our enemies and detaining individuals in a way that ran counter to the rule of law.
Your reaction, sir?
Well, it's of a kind. He has blamed the Bush administration for practically everything since he took office. It seems to me that people are kind of conflated the Department of Defense with the CIA. This Department of Defense at Guantanamo waterboarded no one. 3 people were waterboarded by the agency with the authority of the Department of Justice and the President. And it seems to me that the President said some things. I believe the phrase I heard earlier was something to the effect that al-Qaeda has been gutted. And that just simply isn't true. Al-Qaeda is still effective. We have killed or captured any number of al-Qaeda leadership, and they get replaced. Someone comes on behind them. And
but do you think the threat is the same today as it was 2001, 2002?
No, of course it's evolved somewhat. The problem we've got is that we don't know precisely what the situation is, and the reason we don't is we know the number of people that have been killed or captured. We don't know the number of people that have been recruited. We don't know the number that are being trained. We don't know the amount of money that the Al-Qaeda and their affiliates are raising every year from supporters. We don't know the number of madrasas that are teaching people to go out and kill innocent men, women, and children. And that's unfortunate. Second, we've not even begun to engage from a philosophical standpoint, an ideological standpoint, the problem that we face in the world of terrorists. And you can't defend against terrorists because they can attack anywhere, anytime, using any technique. You can't protect everywhere against terrorists at every moment of the day or night against every conceivable technique.
Well, what do you mean we haven't begun to engage?
Ideologically, the space that we occupied, for example, during the Cold War, where we competed against the ideas of communism. To my knowledge, our government is not competing in that space at all.
Have we ever? Did we during the Bush years?
No, I was asked in the press, and I gave us a D-, and I'm an easy grader. I'd give this administration an F, because they won't even use the words. Until today, I haven't heard people use the word jihad. I haven't heard the people in the Obama administration talk about the fact that there are people that are determined to kill innocent men, women, and children, that are attacking the whole concept of the nation state. They avoid those words. They have.
Well, he used the word jihad today.
That's my point, until today.
Yeah.
But the attorney generals testified before Congress, and he wouldn't even talk about those things.
Let's talk about, and I want to get to your book as well, of course, but let's talk about the drone issue.
Yes.
Drones they weren't started by the Obama administration.
No.
There were drone attacks during the Bush years. Do you think that there is a problem with what the president has done in terms of going after al-Awlaki?
A drone is nothing but an airplane without a pilot.
Right.
And the pilot's on the ground instead of in the airplane, flying that thing. So the technology's here. It's going to be used by countries. It's going to be used by private organizations.
But you used it, right?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah. We had very few when I came into office. They were increased, and this administration has the benefit of those unmanned aerial vehicles. Now, he made a point, and I would say, you know, the United States had a civil war. When someone took arms against the United States in the United States, we had a civil war. 600,000 Americans were killed. It is a very tough issue. And he's talking about some sort, I didn't hear the speech or have a chance to read it, but I saw the clip that you just showed. He mentioned the possibility of a judicial board of approval of some kind. I would personally, we do that for some things now, with a FISA board. We go to the courts and ask permission. I personally think that going to the Congress and discussing it with them and getting them on board for some policy that makes sense to the American people so that he has that kind of support. He'll need it.
Let's talk about this book, Rumsfeld's Rules, Leadership Lessons in Business, Politics, War, and Life. First of all, what do you say to critics who say that they don't really have a great feeling about your leadership when it came to the wars, and they wonder why you would write a book?
These are not all Rumsfeld's rules. These are rules from people that are a lot wiser than I am, and I've collected them over my lifetime. And I guess what I would say to people like that is read the book.
Read the book. Is there one particular rule that you would wish that you would give to President Obama and that he would heed it?
Well, I think that I would. When I was a Navy pilot, the rule, if you're lost, is to climb, conserve, and confess. Get some altitude, take a deep breath, and get on the radio and say you're lost. You need to
You think he's lost?
Oh, my goodness. They keep saying things that are different week after week after week, whether it's Benghazi or whether it's the Internal Revenue Service. What you need to do is get the people in the office, sit them down, and find ground truth, because the currency a leader has is credibility. And to the extent that credibility gets eroded over time, you lose your ability to lead. And I guess that's the name of your program, The Lead.
The Lead, that's right.
Yes.
Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld, best of luck with your book. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.